guess the spell will just have to be really loud, Suitcase, so that the Cosmic Weevil doll can hear it on this planet. Now close your eyes, Suitcase, as I teleport away. Here we are on Mars, Suitcase. How do you like it? Kind of cold and dreary, isn't it? You go over there and play in the ruins by the Martian Sphinx while I get things together over here. Okay, let's see. A little eye of newt, little toe of frog, maybe some broth of sloth. Who knows? That ought to do it. Oh, great spirit of Buckethead, wherever you are, you've suffered long enough, and so have we. Come back then and perform the poem Glass Organs and get it over with, so that nothing will have been left undone. I conjure you now in the name of the amazing Suitcase doll. Abracadabra, presto changeo, and stand revealed as the ghost of Buckethead. Great Buckethead's ghost, Suitcase. It's really good to sort of be back together again. Best of all, the warlock's spell was so powerful that it seems to have resurrected everybody who died because of the aura. Why, it even brought the planet back to life. All this as a mere side effect. I wondered if you could have had anything to do with that, Suitcase. Of course, it's too bad that the Warlock of Mars had to sacrifice himself in order to achieve this. My sensors don't detect him anywhere. He seems to have bailed clear out of the Einsteinian space-time continuum. But you know, he struck me as the type who could take care of himself wherever he is. I guess what it means to us is that we won't have the Warlock of Mars around here to prevent nuclear war for us anymore, Suitcase. From now on, I guess we'll just have to prevent nuclear war for ourselves. Whether the Warlock will ever return is an interesting question. But there's no question at all about what I'm doing back. I'm here to fulfill my destiny. And so, in honor of the Warlock of Mars, wherever he is, at last, glass organs. When Babylon met the friendly glade, a union strange and dire was made, a fair exchange and even trade. All bets were off, all debts were paid. A new world born, old hopes waylaid, their tattered fabric torn and frayed. A flag that must the soul degrade, but I've sworn not to be afraid. And fear is so small next to panic, and panic the price of technology. And so history becomes hysteria as we leave the gentle summerland for the city of sin. our lives plugged in to one vast computerized deity, our masters, machinery, the master race. The human race was not a hard act to follow. In the gleaming crystal silence of the halls of death, we quail in riot desperation, our glass organs quaking, our crystal hearts breaking, our old world unmaking, an alien terrain now emblazoned with our own frozen footprints in the sand. And so here we are, well into the written word, and it's too late to turn back now. And some of us are trying not to be afraid. This noble effort, whilst printed lies are published daily, and the secret formula which will kill us all is being written at this very moment on a blackboard somewhere. The trees are all dead now, so we're back to writing on slate. That's progress, I guess. But don't bother me now. I'm busy trying not to be afraid. But he was afraid of his own shadow, where he had cast a giant shadow on the world. While morning's glory and heavenly blues made me vomit pure poetry into the broiling chaos dawn, mushrooming thorny fire like a cactus from hell, I watched the mob dancing at a mask of death to the tune of the belladonna blues. The glass houses had spewed this glass menagerie out into the glazed crystal streets for the final glass orgy, a shattering tarantella as flesh claimed fragile flesh in the dawning nightmare glare. And hopeless millions I saw there. Their opium-fed brains leaked and ran from their ears like rats deserting Kubla's pleasure dome. Their chromosomes were all damaged and they all thought they could fly, but their acid visions burned forever. Their glass organs, like throbbing test tubes, were bottomless receptacles for desperation incarnate, with golden spikes in their punctured arms and swollen daggers in their sunken eyes. They glued their heads into brown paper shopping bags. Some of them could only breathe the fumes of grass and hash or crack. And some had had their nostrils surgically replaced with rolled up century notes. Some were sobered down and could see only reds, man, while others had raised a speed whip to get them through the long night. As we watched and waited for that grisly dawn and raved and prayed against the dying of the light. The citizens of this hallucination had survived the splitting of the atom, but succumbed to the detonation of the mind. The scorpions are all smiling now, but their turn will come as the world turns on them, when the sun gets around to toasting their chitinous little hides with bloody autumn wine. And so I told my shrink, look, I know the sirens aren't real. If they were, I'd be hearing them for the rest of my life. But they sounded real since the day I turned 30, and they also sound dangerous. Can't you make them stop anyway? The Apocalypse Times was publishing a special edition for every moment that still remained in order to disseminate the following vital information. Warning, warning, danger, danger. All citizens are instructed to please stand by for further instructions and vital information. I personally wouldn't mind dying that way, but the death of the world really appalls me for some reason whenever I'm sane enough not to want to take it with me. I'm amazed that you people don't hear them yourselves yet. And Conrad tells us that jolly old St. Nuke is coming to make it rain fire and brimstone from his magic sleigh up there. Even civilians, pure of heart, who live in shells day and night, can get shell-shocked when the moon is cruel and the autumn wine runs bright. The nuclear drill. 1. Hide under the bed in an orderly fashion. 2. Have an orderly heart attack and kiss ground zero goodbye. And somewhere in the future, they are probably real. We were knee-high in Agent Orange, but it might have been a Soviet agent. When the air is filled with treasonol, you can't tell who's on whose side all the time, or if there even is more than one side at any one time. And Scuttlebutt says it wears holes in your side, but that's really beside the point. The supermarkets had long since joined the buffalo in near extinction, and you can't fight on a steady diet of Lysol and fingernails, not even somebody else's, nor live on glass organs and silicone livers. The Animal Protective Society was out to breakfast that year, and life was busy making snuff flicks for the kitty porn crowd. The bruised sky was aflame with jelly napalm hell, and the neutron bomb's blight. And rumor had it that the secret formula which will kill us all was being developed at that very moment in a military think tank's plague lab somewhere by a highly paid public servant and government employee. And we all wondered how many things would turn out to be mutants in the end. For many, it was a time of punctuation. Few survived the rigors of the emergency outcast system. For some, it was not a test. The 1,000 injuries of my enemies I had borne as well as a character by Poe. Yet still, I wondered if I should tell Shrinko about the dream in which I actually bit somebody's face off. And will we be left standing, you and I, standing here? Or will we find our sands must disappear, our atoms gone to fragments nuclear, our souls gone on to everlasting cheer? Or will we have to live where life is dear, adapting to a fate most sinister, a world gone mad and strange and grim and queer, where evolution rapes you with a leer, where all that's left is frenzy, force, and fear, survival king and death its only peer, where cannibals drink from skulls of foam with beer, all poison now, the air once sweet and clear, where hope laments and fortune sheds a tear. Oh, will we Must we be left standing here? And standing here, we feed on the dread portents, nourished by terror and besotted with bile. We must breakfast on runes as the world burns. The food is all toxified now, but the words, all those martial mouthings for the marching morons, are still etched in fire across the sky. Here today, gone today. Fly now, slay later. Our motto, never give a sucker an even break. Let madness reign and Caligula be king. He styles himself a Thespian and will act the tyrant well. We'll take Mexico away from Cortez and build 3 hotels on Paradise Place. We'll collect our money without pass and go, and some of us will spend the rest of our lives in jail. Be thrilled, children. The best is yet to come. For the second coming is always the best when you worship something that old farmer Yawa nailed onto his barn door. We'll save up our sins and collect a new toaster by next Easter. And if that doesn't work, we'll hurl fiery gadgets at Russia so that our space shuttle can make movies of all the tragedy and devastation. And perhaps those movies will be shown at drive-ins in Alpha Centauri someday. But the popcorn wars will be long done, and I will be well done if it was well done, or else cringing around and worrying about the fascism again, and wondering how to keep my Orwellian ashes out of trouble in some brave new police state. Either way, I wouldn't want to star in one of those dramas. But I guess we will all be stars by then. When the trees are all gone and the slates are cleaned out, we'll have to write on celluloid so that the aliens can see how brave we all were because of all the big bad guts we had, and how much like a Chili's we were, and how we were a cast of thousands of millions. Thousands of millions of years hence, they'll read this, painfully inscribed with a pen, frame by frame on celluloid, and they will marvel that he was not afraid to write. He heard the sirens for the rest of his life, but he pretended they weren't there. His claws were made of brass, but his organs were blown glass, love-crafted by those skilled artisans in that city of strange bedfellows. And it's never really shatterproof when you need one. But lo, he persevered anyway, endlessly, amidst the crying in the night. This noble upstart who would be clean, this outland desperado with the lightning draw, this poor Pied Piper of the Bethlehem slouch, did sing his sad songs of sorrow and sin, regardless of the consequences to him, for lo, he was not afraid. He sang and sang of passion and pain to an audience of none in a theater of the mind, accompanied only by the transparent cathedral chords of his brittle and brilliantly coruscating glass organs as they shattered orgasmically, one by one, in a kind of gory hymn to the entropic process. And death could not kill the glory of his song. His only worry was having to come back and live in a reincarnation. But the song, as he hacked and hewed and flayed, only echoed the carnage and ruin that he made. And the music roared and peaked as he played and sang. and laughed and was not afraid.